Welcome back once again, everybody, to Titans Tube. Here we go, Jake. We're on Sunday Night Football, prime time, taking on these Los Angeles Rams at 7-1. There's a total of 3 losses going into this game, and 2 of them are because of the Arizona Cardinals. They are responsible for 2 of the 3 losses for the teams playing on Sunday night.
Who's the other loss?
I'm pretty sure that team beat the Bengals. So, I mean, it's a good team for sure. It's definitely a quality opponent. But anyway, we're going to do our best to preview this matchup, a loaded headlining type of game, because you got 2 of the top teams in each conference, as well as personnel changes. Von Miller now a Ram. Adrian Peterson now a Tennessee Titan. It's going to be interesting. We're going to see what this Titans team is made of without Derrick Henry going forward, Jake. We have notes here. And, of course, you got to mention a rematch of the 1999 Super Bowl. So 21 years later, revenge game. It's finally time to get our revenge. I've been waiting for this moment since
Not
Kevin
like the
Dyson.
Titans haven't played the Rams, a couple times since, but it's always a revenge game. It's every single time.
Yeah, every single time. All right, so how are you feeling, Jake? Last time we saw this team was a closer than expected. Titans go on to lose that game 27-23 because of Todd Gurley, who went off, but he's long gone from the Rams now. So totally different Rams team. What do you think, Jake? How are you feeling about this matchup?
I was very fretful. Me and you were kind of talking about how we're going to be pessimistic in this preview, but I think our attitude has changed throughout the week, Justin. You're seeing Adrian Peterson have reps in practice, and Julio is going to be coming back for this game, which is a huge boost to this offense, who needs a big boost in the absence of number 22, Derrick Henry. So I don't know if us Titans fans are just kind of feeding into it ourselves, or this whole mindset shift, but I think we're convincing ourselves that this Adrian Peterson experiment could work out. I feel like his style of running fits the Titans scheme. He's that bruising back who can go between the tackles, and maybe at 36 years old, he's got another long touchdown, just one left in him. And wouldn't it be great to have it on Sunday Night Football against a team who the Titans aren't supposed to be?
Right. Yeah. It's funny. I definitely see that too everywhere. Like, a lot of people are excited about seeing Adrian Peterson play. And I mean, we talked about it briefly before we went on here, but we've both been watching a lot of Twitter videos from guys that are at practice, and the reps that Adrian Peterson and Julio Jones have been taking, and it's like, all right, these are our Titans. Let's go. I mean, they look good. They look ready to go. Mm-hmm. Peterson obviously has been keeping in shape. Similar style of runner. Hopefully, the offense doesn't have to change too much of what we do. Plug and play. Let's go. Let's see what this team is made of against a quality Rams opponent. And I'm excited. I'm excited about this. And of course, I think a lot of Titans fans feel the same way, that a loss on Sunday night is not going to be heartbreaking whatsoever. So let's just go in, enjoy our team, watch them play, pray for health, to not get any worse, and everyone comes out healthy. All right. That's a long ranty intro to this.
That's okay.
Let's get right to it. If you want to do the honors, we already kind of talked about Julio looking like he's got a lot of juice in the practice reps that we've been seeing, and you can kind of tell, like we've said it before, this dude just is different. He is differently built. He's an athletic freak. So very much looking forward to seeing Julio, but a very tough Rams secondary, obviously, too, Jake.
Yeah, definitely. So this Titans passing offense coming into this week, Julio is returning. A.J. Brown practiced all week, but was held out today. We're filming this Friday afternoon. So he's listed as questionable, but he talked to the media, seemed his normal A.J. Brown, charismatic self. He didn't seem like he was down or he's not going to play or anything like that. So I would expect A.J. Brown to go this week. Yeah. So Ryan Tannehill is going to have both of his premier weapons on the outside. And like we said, he's going to need them with the absence of Derrick Henry. And speaking of Ryan Tannehill, dude's got to stop turning the ball over. He has been a turnover machine this year, and it's not good. He's been the sole kind of black demerit on this offense, and he has matched last season's total, Justin, in interceptions by week 9. He's thrown 7 picks just in the first 8 games this year, when he threw 7 interceptions all last year. So uncharacteristic of Ryan Tannehill while wearing the two-tone blue to be turning the ball over this much. I know he has a history in Miami, but that was then and this is now. So hopefully he can get that cleaned up and corrected. But he's definitely got a tough test this week against the Rams passing defense, who you might, look at this stat line and say, maybe they're not that good, but trust me, they're pretty good. 21st in overall passing defense, giving up 264 yards a game. Another thing about this Rams defense that raises your eyebrows is they lead the league in sacks this year. So, talk about getting out of here healthy. Hopefully Aaron Donald doesn't have a big day against Ryan Tannehill like Chandler Jones did week 1. The secondary, obviously led by Jalen Ramsey, arguably the best corner in the league. I would probably say he is the best corner in the league. And he's got Robert Rochelle on the other side, who's no slouch either. And Jordan Fuller and Taylor Rapp are both back at safety for this Rams team. They are the top 2 leading tacklers on this defense. So this secondary isn't afraid to get physical. They're not afraid to get up in your face, as Jalen Ramsey's signature kind of play style. So we'll see if the Titans can scheme up something, get a little creative, get Julio in space, get AJ Brown in space, and try and, bring this Derrick Henry-less Titans offense to life. But with, the Rams pass rush and their premier secondary, I don't see the Titans quite getting the advantage here, Justin. I'm going to have to give it to the Rams passing defense. What do you think?
Yeah, I would slightly. I mean, we still kind of have the unproven Julio. He's trying to get back to form, but I would give this Titans offense a chance, this passing offense a chance, it's going to come down to Ryan Tannehill. I mean, just to reiterate, all the big points that you made about him just having to stop this bad turnover streak that he's on. I mean, we've seen it before. I mean, maybe he was doing that in Miami, but he would have a handful of games here and there in his first 2 seasons here where he would throw a ball and it'd be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? But his play would be so much better to make up for that one mistake throughout the course of the game. But what we're seeing here now is it's a consistent thing. It's been like at least once a game for the past 5-6 weeks, it feels like. He throws 1 or 2 balls right to the defense. So Tannehill's a great quarterback. He's a smart guy. This is a thing that you can correct. But it's going to come down to Tannehill not making a turnover and protecting him, like you said. Yeah. So, I mean, that's going to be huge. But for now, you got to give the key advantages here to the Rams pass defense. It is interesting, as someone that doesn't watch Rams games, for their 2 safeties to be their top 2 leading tacklers. Yeah. I'm going to choose to take that as they are terrible in pass coverage. So they allow a lot of receptions and then they're forced to tackle them immediately. So
I like that.
Clearly, I think we're looking good in that department. But I agree. You got to give them the pass defense advantage. Can't, underestimate what Jalen Ramsey can do back there. Could legitimately take away one of our 2 top receivers. Mm-hmm. But we'll see how they play him. Let's see how our running offense, Jake, can match up against this Rams front 7 of a rush defense. I would prefer not to talk about it, to be honest, because then you just remember that you don't have old reliable Derrick Henry back there. But this is going to be the first time all season the streak is snapped where I don't think we can give the Titans rushing offense the advantage coming into this game. Yes. He will be sorely missed. So we'll see. We'll see what Peterson can do, what McNichols can do. Deontay Foreman, we'll see if he's in, the rotation there. But I feel like he's more of an insurance guy, and it's going to be Peterson and McNichols splitting the touches there. But, we'll see. He's been a good runner for the Titans in spots in the past. Foreman has, I'm referring to. But, kind of an offhanded question, and we can cut this out if you want to. But it's interesting that we cut Mekhi Sargent and signed Foreman. If we wanted Foreman to come in and play, regardless, why wouldn't we have just had him on our roster from the beginning and what are we doing with Sargent? Did he get injured? I don't know what the situation was, but it seemed weird that we just didn't elevate Sargent and then we brought in Foreman.
I was kind of excited. It was kind of one of the spin zones of the Derrick Henry injuries. Like maybe we'll get Mekhi Sargent a couple of carries in the game and hopefully he can have a blossoming kind of career with this team. But yeah, it was interesting to see them bring back Deontay Foreman instead. The only Deontay Foreman play I remember is the Derrick Henry fake and then wide open touchdown pass in the Thursday night Colts game, I believe, last year.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
play sticks out in my mind. Number 45, Deontay Foreman.
Yes. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, we'll see what he does. Yeah, interesting just how the Titans handled that, because Sargent was like one of our preseason players of the year or whatever. I mean, he showed up in preseason games, coaching staff fell in love with him. He was an underdog story, didn't get drafted, yada, 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 whatever. Doesn't matter in the end, because Foreman is our third running back going into this game. And they are going to be running into a few walls here, Jake, on this front seven. You already mentioned Aaron Donald, once again, as dominant as ever on the defensive side of the ball. Big thing to watch is, will Von Miller play, and how much will he play? I think he was dealing with some sort of nagging injury in Denver. I don't know if that's recent or if that's been something going on the whole season. So, they might play it safe and just kind of have Von Miller on a very limited snap count, or might sit him entirely. One player who's great in his own right, but is thriving in this Rams defense, playing alongside other great players, is Leonard Floyd, who leads their team in sacks with 6.5. So that's, not as much as our guy, Harold Landry, of course. But, shout out to Floyd, having a great season, along with Troy Reeder and Ashawn Robinson are some of their top contributors on the front seven. But big news that we saw coming out today was their defensive lineman, Sebastian Joseph Day, was placed on IR. I think he aggravated something in practice. So that was kind of an unexpected scratch that coming into this game. I looked up his stats briefly, and yeah, he's their leading tackler amongst all defensive linemen, to go along with 3 sacks. So that could be a big loss to keep an eye on for this Rams front seven. But I mean, despite all that, Jake, you got to give the advantage to this Rams defense at the end of the day. No Derrick Henry. A lot of questions about how this Titans rush game is going to look without the king back there. So yeah, I think it's pretty easy to give the Rams the edge here. What do you think?
Yes, and it's so unfortunate to have to give up our pattern of, we know who's getting the rushing advantage this week. We don't even have to really look at the opposing defense's front seven. We got the king. It's no worries at all. And, as this category came around, I heard a stat last week, or I guess earlier this week, when Derrick Henry initially went down, that really magnified his impact on this team. So I'm going to read it off really quick. So Derrick Henry, since the 99-yard touchdown game against Jacksonville 2018, since that game, he's played in 43 games for the Titans. And that ended on Sunday. He's got nearly 1,000 carries, 5,089 yards, and 50 touchdowns, and 23 games of 100 yards or more, and 5 games of 200 yards or more. So
good grief,
how about that? And let's divide that up into maybe games. So that's 118 yards a game, 1+ touchdown a game, and 5.1 yards per carry. You cannot understate the impact that Derrick Henry has had on this franchise, on this fan base, on this entire football team as a whole, because since that point in his career, he's been near unstoppable.
Yeah, you cannot replace that kind of production, no matter how many different running backs you bring into the team. It is crazy. It's got to be the longest sustained stretch of production of any Titans player ever. I mean, CJ2K had his, but that was like a 11-12 game stretch in his 2,000-yard season. He was putting up ridiculous numbers, and I don't think it carried on as well in the following season. But yeah, an unbelievable run that Henry has been on since there was that game, the 99-yard run in 2018. So yeah, big time identity changer for this Titans, especially obviously for what they're going to look like in the run game. But AP, man, AP is going to bring us back.
All day we will be okay. Yeah, I kind of view it as like when you're playing fantasy football and somebody offers you like 3 average players for 1 great player, and it's like trying to like compensate points wise, but you can't play 3 players in 1 slot. Yeah, you got the aging Adrian Peterson, but definitely did not want to undersell Derrick Henry's impact on this offense, Justin. I guess we can go ahead and switch sides of the ball to this Titans passing defense versus this Rams passing offense. Still no sign of Christian Fulton. Just a tiny bit of concern that he hasn't even been activated for that 21-day window to come off of IR. So something to watch there. Hopefully we don't have another Adoree Jackson situation on our hands where he's supposed to come back and he just never does. So fingers crossed. Hopefully Christian Fulton can get back healthy for this team. Greg Maben sustained an injury. He went to IR and then he just came off of IR because I think it was a misreport or something from the Titans. So saw that right before we started filming.
Oh my God.
That Greg Maben's coming back. I don't know if he's going to play on Sunday. I don't think he's on track to. But anyways, so in this Titans secondary, you're looking at Jackrabbit Jenkins, who's playing better and better with every game. This Titans secondary is playing together. And so is Elijah Molden. The rookie is stepping up, making plays. You saw it last week in Indianapolis. He's not afraid to stick his nose in there and get physical. So I think this secondary is kind of playing with a little more cohesion, especially because of Harold Landry and the Titans pass rush starting to get home a little bit. That definitely helps the back end. And how about the mayor of Murfreesboro, Justin? Kevin Byard has returned to this all-pro status, one of the top safeties in the league. He's gotten back to that kind of feeling where he's just always around the ball. If there's a Titans takeaway, he's either punching it out or catching the interception. He's just an absolute ball hawk. So definitely a big kind of return to form for Kevin Byard. Love to see that from him. And they're going to have their hands full, Justin. This Rams passing offense is 4th in the league in yards per game, 301. Obviously, Cooper Kupp, the headliner, leads the NFL in receiving yards this year. Talk about a guy putting up ridiculous numbers at the wide receiver position. And then opposite him, Robert Woods, another good receiver who's listed as questionable, but I think he's on track to play. So we'll see if that progresses any towards Sunday night. Opposite Cooper Kupp. So they potentially could have an argument for the best 1-2 punch in the league at wide receiver, Justin. I know that the Titans have the names, but we haven't really seen it on the field yet. So maybe this can show AJ and Julio kind of how to work in tandem a little bit in LA on Sunday night. And then rounding out the Rams passing attack, wide receiver Van Jefferson is a contributor for them as well. And tight end Tyler Higbee is a big red zone target for Matt Stafford. So can the Titans stop Matthew Stafford? Can they disrupt him enough with the pass rush? And can they be opportunistic, word of the week, every single week for this defense and get a turnover and possibly tilt the scales to their side? I'm going to have to give the advantage to Matt Stafford and the Rams passing offense, but we'll see how the game plays out. It's all about how this pass rush can get to an aging quarterback, Justin.
Yeah, unfortunately, I would have to agree. I think a lot of us kind of expected Fulton to be back at this point, but hopefully maybe they're just playing it safe and it's not as bad as what they had initially thought. But yeah, I mean, another huge game from Kevin Byard is needed here. I mean, Matthew Stafford's done a good job of taking care of the football. He has 4 interceptions on the season to his 22 touchdowns, but he's still kind of that gunslinging, we'll take a chance on a play if it's there. And that's when I think Kevin Byard needs to do what he does best and get his hands on the ball and get a big turnover for us. It's definitely going to be a challenge for this secondary. And I looked it up, and Cooper Kupp, yes, he leads the league in receiving yards. He also leads the league in receiving touchdowns. So no one's having a better year so far receiving the ball than Cooper Kupp. It's going to be a big time challenge. And I look at the injury report and I look at the Rams injury report. Big injury report guy here, Jake. I'm a big fan of those when they drop. And it's interesting. I mean, maybe practice isn't the end all be all tell all of a player's condition, but Matthew Stafford obviously expected to play, but he's listed with a back issue, did not practice at all Wednesday and Thursday and was limited on Friday. Wow. And also Robert Woods, and I think you mentioned it, he didn't practice either Wednesday or Thursday and was just limited on Friday. So these guys could be a little banged up coming in. I mean, it could be a thing where it's just, AJ Brown made it on the injury report today. He didn't practice, and it says, he was listed with a knee. He's always dealing with a knee, but look at AJ Brown playing against the Colts. You tell me if he's injured. Like, it could just be a mirage, smoke screen from the Rams and what they're trying to do. But some, to maybe keep an eye on. And, this Rams team could be a little bit banged up, and hopefully that slows them down and helps out this secondary that's, going to be put to the test. maybe the biggest test all season, the most prolific passing offense we're going to face this year. But yeah, so they got to get the advantage for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. And do you want to see if the Titans can eke out the first advantage of the preview video, Justin, here? How about our top 10 rush defense? Coming along. This swept. Front seven's coming along.
Yeah. We are not about to get swept in this advantage category.
Not on Titans tube. Yeah.
We're not the Colts. We don't get swept here at Titans.
Ooh, I like it.
We are in the top 10 in rushing defense. Yes. Man, when I don't know what Simmons is dealing with. I think he had an ankle injury he was dealing with throughout the week. But he's expected to play, I'm pretty sure, and we're going to need a huge game out of him. Possibly a Jayon Brown return. That's still to be determined. But once again, no Rashaan Evans for a second week. But you know what? I liked this duo of David Long Jr. and Monty Rice against the Colts. Let's get Rice some more reps, some more experience back there. I don't know what happened to Avery Williamson. I was kind of thinking he was going to come in and be the Rashaan Evans for us, but that did not last long at all. So nice reunion, Avery. Did not do anything though.
Reminded me of The Simpsons, Grandpa comes in and takes his hat and like turns around and then picks up his hat and leaves. That was kind of the Avery Williamson reunion.
Somebody needs to get on that, do that video. But yeah, so this Rams rushing offense, that doesn't really scare you if you look at the numbers. They are 19th in rushing offense at 104 yards on the ground per game. With the two running backs, Darrell Henderson Jr. and Sony Michel, the former Patriot there. But Henderson is clearly the lead back. He gets the majority of the touches, and he's got 504 yards and 5 touchdowns on 4.6 yards per carry. So efficient still, an efficient running game. But this is an offense that runs through Matthew Stafford and what Sean McVay can dial up for him and those receivers there. So if we can make them one-dimensional like that, it would help for sure. And I like what I've seen out of this rushing defense so far this year for the most part. And as long as we got our front 7 guys healthy, hopefully Jayon Brown can come back and make a difference. I like it. And they are efficient, and it's not, they're not a run-first offense. So, of course, you see 19th in the NFL in rushing offense. I mean, that doesn't really tell the whole story. That's, context and what have you. But I would still give our rush defense the advantage here. We're desperate for an advantage, Jake. So check mark the Titans here.
Yes, I am also going to check mark the Titans in this advantage. And, if this defensive line can continue to improve, Bud Dupree is only getting healthier from this point. We saw him starting to make plays, especially in that Colts game late, force the Elijah Molden pick 6. And, Harold Landry's among the tops in the NFL right now in sack numbers. And put Jeffrey Simmons and Denico Autry in the middle, and we maybe have one of the better defensive fronts in football. So hopefully they can keep up the success, keep getting after the quarterback, and keep stopping in the run lanes. We're top 10 in the defensive category. It seems like it's been a really long time since we've been able to hang our hat that, hey, we're top 10 in something on the defensive side of the ball. So love to see that from our front 4. Going to special teams, Justin, Slim Randy, Brett Kern, our guys. And I don't know if you saw the Mike Vrabel post-game speech in the locker room. The Titans always post these after wins. After the win in Indianapolis, obviously Randy Bullock game-winning field goal. He holds up the game ball. Randy, you got a home with us, and everybody's cheering. Yeah, Randy, yeah. So Randy Bullock's your kicker. Sorry, Sam Ficken, who is still sitting on IR. Who knows what the Titans are doing with that guy? But Randy Bullock is your Titans kicker for the foreseeable future, Justin, until he starts stringing together misses. But knock on wood, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the success of our guy, Slim Randy. On the Rams side, they have long-tenured punter Johnny Hecker at punter, one of the best in the league. And then Matt Gay kicking field goals for them, who's 14 of 15 on the year. So definitely no slouches over there kicking football for the Los Angeles Rams. I would maybe call it a push because I think Brett Kern is also a top 10, top 5 punter probably in the league. And, I looked up Randy Bullock's field goal percentage, and he's only missed 2 this year, Justin, I think out of 16, if my memory serves me correct. So, look out, Matt Gay, but Randy Bullock's about to match you in field goal percentage. So hopefully Mr. Gay can push a field goal off to the left this Sunday night and tie Randy Bullock. So I'll give us a push in that category, just so the Rams aren't super loaded with advantages.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. I can't believe it. I'm kind of excited to talk about our special teams for the first time in years. I mean, you love what Randy's been able to do, and Kern coming back and looking really good. I mean, I'm kind of concerned, Brett Kern being on and off the field, COVID, and was he dinged up with an injury at some point too?
Yeah.
I was hoping that he wouldn't, go through this slump, and kind of how Ryan Suckup slowly and surely just kind of left the team because he was continuously hurt and also was performing pretty bad. But no, Kern looks better than ever. And so, yeah, I'll take these two kickers. I'll take them into battle against any other two kickers on any other team. So we'll give us the push here, Jake. But overall, they still got 3 key advantages to our 1, and then the special teams push. One thing real quick before we get into our total keys and predictions that I forgot to mention, and I had to confirm this, so I was looking at their depth chart. They do have another corner, Jake, that I was wanting to shout out, because his name is David Long Jr. Who's David Long?
Yes.
Who's the original David Long, who just keeps making NFL quality player kids and just naming them after himself, I guess. I don't know how many David Longs are out there.
Have we ever seen both of these players? We'll have to see if they're at the same, if we can see 2 of them in the stadium at the same time. Maybe David Long Jr. just also plays linebacker for the Titans and corner for the Rams. It could be.
It definitely could be. I mean, I would have to think this guy's the best football player of all time if he's able to suit up for 2 different teams every single Sunday.
That's exhausting.
Yeah. Okay. I just, it's ridiculous. Everything is ridiculous, but it's a funny coincidence. I just wanted to mention that. So don't think you're having a stroke if you see a guy with the Rams jersey saying David Long Jr. walking around and be like, oh, we traded a mid-game. What's going on? Anyway, so keys and predictions, Jake. Where are we thinking is going to be the X factor of this game? And who do you think is going to win? Do you have a score prediction? I'll let you take it away.
Oh, boy. The X factor in this game is Mike Vrabel, and how motivated is this Tennessee Titans team to prove on a national stage that we love Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is the lifeblood of our team, but we don't need Derrick Henry. We can win in his absence. I think this team is going to be hungry. And we say it a lot in the NFL Picks video, but hungry dog runs faster. And I feel like the Titans have a little bit extra juice coming into this game. And you saw it with the Adrian Peterson comments this week and how this team is ready to go. A.J. Brown's first word out of his mouth when talking about the absence of Derrick Henry just said, we're motivated. We are so motivated to go out and prove that, Derrick Henry isn't this entire 53-man roster, Justin. And we were talking about that after the injury news came out. So if Mike Vrabel can do what he does best and coach this team and schematically kind of chess match his opponent in games where they aren't supposed to win. I feel like Mike Vrabel does that the most in games where they're 7.5-point underdogs plus. And that's what they are this weekend. On prime time in a hostile environment. So I think that the Titans could eke this one out, Justin. I like the Titans plus 7.5 for all our betting friends, but I am also going to take the Titans to win this football game and another thriller, 33-27.
Ooh, I like it. Very nice. I really like the Mike Vrabel, X Factor key answer that you have. Because, I mean, across the field on the other sideline is Sean McVay, one of the big time X's and O's type of coach. And he's a good motivator too. I've seen him, in candid videos around his team. I would love to play for that guy. He seems like it's going to be a head coach in the NFL for a long time. And I think Vrabel is kind of the same way. And he's motivated this team, I think. I mean, I think we have the players who are, high character, quality guys will find a way to motivate themselves regardless. But I think they're buying in. They're believing in Mike Vrabel. This team's already faced a lot of adversity, roster and personnel-wise, with injuries and bad losses, and then bouncing back from bad losses. So this team has a lot of character, and a lot of motivation is the key word.
Yes.
A lot of, they're ready. They're ready for any opponent at any time. And I totally agree. I think what Mike Vrabel, getting him in that kind of mindset this is our reality now without Derrick Henry. Everyone's going to have to lean on each other more than ever before. Anyway, yada, yada, yada. I like what you said. I love the motivation factor coming into this game. And for me, I was kind of going to go like a bland answer, like Tannehill can't throw a bad interception. That's I mean, things are going to have to bounce our way for sure. This Rams team is just hyper talented. Forgot to mention too, a pretty big loss for the offensive line is Nate Davis will not be available for this game. So will Dylan Radins get the start, who may not be ready to go, definitely isn't ready to go against Aaron Donald, that's for sure. So we'll see how the offense again and the running game look despite that as well. But this is going to be a Tannehill game, man. If we're going to have a chance to win this game, we got to get it done through the air. Julio Jones has got to be not prime Julio Jones, but just 32, 33-year-old Julio that's 90-ish% healthy. That's what we need. And I think Tannehill throwing to AJ, Jalen Ramsey is going to be a dangerous corner to throw against, regardless of whichever wide receiver we have running routes on him. But it's going to come down to Tannehill, the crown, they're the captain of the team, whatever. And I don't want to say crown. We only have one king. There's
only one king.
Yeah, but this is now Ryan Tannehill's team, and he's got to be the guy to lead this team to a win. And if he plays clean, we know how accurate he is. He just can't make dumb decisions. He's got to play better under pressure, and the Rams are going to bring a lot of pressure. So this is going to be a big game for Ryan Tannehill. So that's what it comes down to for me.
Yep. I
don't really have anything specific, exact stats to say if Tannehill does this, Titans are definitely going to win. But Tannehill's got to be on his A game, and if he is, then I think I'll give the Titans a good shot. I'm going to go with a lower score prediction. I think both offenses, maybe our defense comes ready to play, gets pressure after Stafford, and kind of limits them, is opportunistic with maybe some key turnovers. And I'll take the Titans winning this game in a 24-22 final score. Don't ask me how. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. It's the numbers that just feel right to me in my heart. So that's going to be it.
I like
Titans are going to shock the world. People are going to be talking about us. Oh, what is this Titans team without Derrick Henry? We're still Super Bowl contenders is what we are. And dude, this team is just continuing to impress me. And it's just a fun, good season to be a Titans fan. Life is good, man. We could be fans of other teams that just have not done this rebuild. And, we've been there. We've been the Jets of the past decade. We've been what the Browns were before last year. I mean, we've been at the bottom of the league. The Jags, we've been on their level for a few seasons, but this team has rebuilt. And I think they're ready. The window is now here, maybe next year as well. But let's show them. Let's show them we're Super Bowl contenders. We are the Tennessee Titans, top seed in the AFC. No fluke. And we'll be the top seed in the NFC by February. So.
Oh, I like that. I didn't know where you were going to go there. It took me a second to calculate that in my head. I love the speech, Justin. That got me hyped up. And you're right. Even though you think we'd be in low spirits, Derrick Henry out for 6-10 weeks. Oh my goodness. But it goes back to, you could have lost to Indianapolis and this team could be in a lot worse position. Yeah. And it's all about perspective. You still have Julio Jones, AJ Brown. You have a competent quarterback running the helm. You have a defense that's young and putting it all together, and your pass rush is coming along. And it's a good time to be a Titans fan. You could be watching Zach Mettenberger throw to, Michael Preston and Justin Hunter on Monday Night Football and just getting beat by 20 every single week. But no, you get to watch AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Ryan Tannehill, and the King will be back. So let's just keep it together. Let's tighten up. It's not loser talk to say that if we lose an NFC game on Sunday Night Football, it's not the end of the world, because it's not the end of the world. But let's just go watch this team, have fun, appreciate Titans football. And hey, maybe we sneak out a win, and maybe ESPN will finally talk about us as serious contenders. So anything else, Justin? I think that's going to do it for us.
Yeah, I love it. Sorry. I feel like I was very ranty and just went on speeches, a little too much here and there. But hey, I'm excited. I got a lot of enthusiasm to burn off here. That's what Titans Tube is for me. So, love it. Love everything you said. This is a great time to be a Titans fan. And enjoy it, people. This will be a fun game. Sunday.
Yes.
Let's just, no more injuries. Come on, take it easy, Aaron Donald. If you have a clean shot at Tannehill, just gently set him down. We're going to need him for the playoffs.
Pick him up and swaddle him and set him down on the turf like a baby.
Yes.
Perfect. Like, comment, subscribe, all that jazz. Thank you all for watching. Drop some predictions below. Rams fans, what do you think? Titans fans, what do you think? And yeah, just ride that Titans plus 7.5, Justin.
Yeah,
Thanks for watching. Tighten up and peace out.